Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel, and I got a couple stories to share with you. In this very latest Moon Lambo hot jam, hot. Here's a headline from Finance Feeds. SEC vs. Ripple, will the lawsuit turn against Ethereum? And this is an interesting point of conversation, I think, because, and it's always so rich, like, there's so many people in the world of crypto that just don't like Ripple and don't like XRP. They love that Ripple has been sued. They hope that XRP goes to zero. And they think that their coins are safe. Because look, Bitcoin and Ethereum, as far as I'm concerned, when William Hinman, former SEC director, came out in 2018 and said, we believe that Ether and Bitcoin are not securities, to me that seems like pretty damn clear. It's an official policy. Just because it wasn't etched into stone somewhere, now they're saying, no, it wasn't official policy, right? Jay Clayton even said, we don't view Bitcoin as a security. Okay, but not official policy, even though the top guy said that. So if it's not official policy, the thing about that is Ethereum's not in the clear. In fact, once everything's settled with XRP, it'll be definitive, like whatever XRP is. Security or not security, and I don't believe for a moment it's a security, of course, but we're going to have certainty around it, and there will be less certainty around Ethereum and Bitcoin. Isn't that interesting, right? So anyway, I want to cover that, and then there's also this from Business Wire. Swift to eliminate friction in international payments by upfront verification of account details in real time. So if anybody's worried about what this might mean for XRP being adopted as a bridge currency, I will soothe your soul. It's not a problem. In fact, Swift is basically just playing catch-up. But I want to be clear at the outset, I don't have a legal or financial background of any kinds. I am not offering legal or financial advice, and you should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who likes to make YouTube videos purely as a fun hobby, so that's all that's going on here, damn it. And in we go to this piece. The ripple effect stemming from the SEC versus Ripple Labs lawsuit could eventually lead the SEC to officially determine the nature of Ethereum, especially its upgrade, Ethereum 2.0, which should come into force in the coming weeks. And so, like, let me pause right there already. That's important because we know that cryptocurrencies can go from being centralized to decentralized and vice versa. And we know that that plays a major role in whether or not they're being sold as a security. So nothing is ever completely set in stone. But anyway, William H. Hinman, former director of the SEC's Division of Corporate Finance, has publicly stated that Ethereum as well as Bitcoin are not securities. And here's a quote. And putting aside the fundraising that accompanied the creation of Ether, based on my understanding of the present state of Ether, the Ethereum network and its decentralized structure, current offers and sales of Ether are not securities transactions. End quote. And you know, the thing that really grinds my gears about that is this idea that they're, as he said in that quote right there, setting aside the fundraising that led to Ether being created. Why the hell are you setting that aside? Why does Ethereum get the golden pass? Because you didn't set aside Ripple sales of XRP in the early days or at any point in time. This is not justice. This is not a consistent distribution of justice. That is not what's happening here. And the SEC, as we know, they're just a bunch of asshats and they don't care. And so anyway, he then went on to emphasize that the analysis of whether something is a security is not static and does not strictly adhere to the instrument, which paves the way for the U.S. financial watchdog to revisit the analysis on Ethereum, especially with the upcoming upgrade. And so a lot of questions have emerged from his statements, including the criteria used to make those statements, those assessments. That is why Ripple Labs subpoenaed Mr. Hinman to offer his deposition and clarify the SEC's internal views and policy decision-making, among other issues. And so the SEC filed a motion to quash the subpoena, arguing that Mr. Hinman was of critical importance to the SEC's operations, has no first-hand knowledge of the facts underlying this action, and defendants cannot meet the burden of exceptional circumstances. So earlier this month, the blockchain company and its co-founder sent a letter to Judge Sarah Netburn to oppose the SEC's motion. Its main points in favor of the deposition are that the ex-SEC director never was a high-ranking official and that he has a unique first-hand knowledge relevant to the claims and defense in the case. And so, like, to be clear, it actually does matter whether or not Mr. Hinman is considered to have been a very high-ranking official because there is a higher burden to get him under oath if indeed he is a high-ranking official. So I can see why Ripple's arguing that he's not. Now, me subjectively, to be perfectly honest with you, I always viewed him as high-ranking, but that's just my subjective feeling on that. That's just what I mean, you're talking about a director. How many people are above him? Like a handful? So I always thought he was high, but I can totally see why Ripple's arguing what they're arguing here. But anyway, in regard to the speech Mr. Hinman gave on Ethereum's nature, Ripple and its co-founders argued he himself described the speech as newsworthy, and those watching and listening agreed. The price of Ether skyrocketed immediately after the speech, the letter stated. Yeah, that's definitely true, and the world did take it as official decree from the SEC that Ethereum was in the clear. It absolutely did, and if it wasn't supposed to be taken that way, the SEC should have said that. Otherwise, it's completely irresponsible. Because you're how are you safeguarding investors if you're saying, hey, here's my opinion, just so you know, the SEC hasn't determined this, it's just me. Because that might impact the way investors allocate their funds, whether they buy or sell or hold Ethereum. And they didn't care. And that's because, again, this was the official stance and still is the official stance of the SEC, whether they say that's the case or not. As far as I'm concerned, it absolutely is. But many have since described the speech as setting forth a new standard separate from or additional to Howey. Multiple currency exchanges decided to list XRP after the speech, suggesting it gave comfort that comfort that offers and sales of XRP did not run afoul of the securities laws. So think about that. Isn't that fascinating? That speech gave market participants more confidence that XRP was in the clear. That is something. And so that's why I go back to say, when you're talking about Ripple's fair notice defense, like this idea that, because the SEC says, of course they should have known that what they were doing was illegal the whole time they were doing it. And Ripple says, no, we didn't have any sort of legal notice what we were doing was wrong. I mean, so that's why it's so damn clear that Ripple did not have notice, and other market participants agree, or else they wouldn't have listed XRP after that. Come on, guys, So anyway, although the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission insists that Mr. Hinman's words were his own and did not represent the regulator's policy on crypto, the SEC could feel enough heat to clarify Ethereum's status, especially now that the upgrade, ETH2, is about to go live and will transition from a proof-of-work to a proof-of-stake model. And so on that, attorney Jeremy Hogan, who's a member of the XRP community, of course, took a shot at analyzing a few of the top cryptocurrencies regarding the likelihood of finding them in a similar spot that Ripple is in now with the SEC. So look, according to what the SEC is saying right now, if we're going to take them at their word, their most recent word, because they waffle a bit, Ether's not in the clear. And so it absolutely could be, and the Ethereum Foundation could be in big trouble. They could, because they sold a ton of ETH. Now, not that I think that they necessarily should be, but I'm just saying, if we're distributing justice equally, then yeah, that's a thing. And now into this next piece from Business Wire. Swift to eliminate frictions in international payments by upfront verification of account details in real time. And again, you'll see as I go through this, I don't need to spend much time on this, frankly, but it seems to me it's just Swift catching up to what Ripple is already doing. That's what it looks like to me. And so Swift today announced the go live of a service that will enable banks to verify payee account details before an international payment is sent, removing a key point of friction in cross-border transactions. The new payment pre-validation service is a core building block in Swift's strategy to drive instant and frictionless transactions worldwide. Most cross-border payments are processed without issue. But one of the leading causes for those that fail or lose time is incorrect beneficiary information, from misspelled names to transposed account numbers. And so look, here's what they're talking about doing. Let me just pause here. They're talking about just verifying that they have the correct information of the recipient, the intended recipient, before initiating the transfer. That's it. Well, Ripple already does that. It seems like ancient times here. It's 2021 and you're just now doing this. What is going on? But anyway, it continues. And because they are detected late in the process, these issues can be among the most time-consuming and costly to resolve. Swift's payment pre-validation service tackles this problem by allowing a sending bank to confirm account details via an API with the receiving bank from the very beginning of the process so that any data or account problems are identified right up front. This check is similar to what already occurs in some domestic markets, except that the SWIFT service will go much further, solving the issue for up to 11,000 institutions and 4 billion accounts in 200 countries. And so part of the reason that this is difficult is because in terms of plugging in an API, it sounds easy on the surface, sure, but try getting all of your institutions there, 11,000 of them on the same page, and it can be a challenge. But Ripple's been doing this from the get-go here. So this is Swift trying to play catch-up again, and they still do not have a solution for settlement. They're just pretending it's not even an issue. Because look, here's the thing: humans haven't devised a solution for the pre-funding issue outside of utilizing a technologically sufficient decentralized cryptocurrency that has an open market price. And there's only one that's being positioned on the entire planet to solve this problem, and that's XRP. So if you think utility matters, and you're like me, you think utility matters, I think that XRP could have some serious staying power and be worth substantially more in the future than it is today. But I'll go ahead and wrap up there. I am not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.